2 games. 2 games shy of a perfect week, Ben. How do you feel now? Are you as confident now? This is my first lead since, 2 years ago. The bottom line is, if you think that having my first lead since, the beginning of last year has humbled me in any sort of way, you're fucking wrong.
No.
Yeah, I'm shitting on you all episode. Let's go. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Nick's Picks. It is week 5 of the regular season, and I am joined, as I am always, by Benjamin, the guy now in second place. Ben, how does it feel? How does it feel to, you
Shut up.
How does it feel to have your 15 minutes of fame be over?
At least my team can score on offense consistently.
Oh, more Giant slander. That's what you're Slower's go-to on me is Giant slander. As if, I don't slander the Giants more than both of you. Yeah, unfortunately, Slower won't be here for this episode. He was supposed to be, but...
A little bit, that's why.
Yeah, I think he's still salty about the Packers game. We got to get into that.
He can't just own up to that. Whatever.
But before we get into that, the score is 39 to... What was it, Ben? What? Say that again.
35.
It's a 35? Oh, yeah, 35. Yeah, not 39. Not above 39. It is 35. You're down by 4, Ben. What a fucking comeback. What a comeback.
Calm down.
I don't care. I love it. And I'm appreciating all the Team Nicks in the comments. It's really pushing me along. Let's get a Team Ben down there for once. He needs it. He's down by so much.
Oh my god. Watch I get 3 score predictions and I'm just kidding. That would be wild, honestly.
I'm really just stalling because I don't have last week's picks up yet. Hang on one second. Okay, let's get into this recap. But before we get into slower stuff, let's start with the Thursday night game, the Giants and the Cowboys. A game that the Giants really could have won if Daniel Jones could throw farther than 10 yards. And I know that's the common theme. That's what everybody has been saying. So that's not groundbreaking analysis here that Daniel Jones can't throw farther than 10 yards. But I think the real groundbreaking analysis of this is just I'm really excited for this Giants defense. This Giants defense is insanely good.
I agree. Yeah.
And I swear to God, next year we could, I'm not going to say we're going to be contenders or for Super Bowl or anything like that, but with the right rookie quarterback, this team could be dangerous. Yeah.
I agree. No, as much shit as we go on the Giants, literally, all you need is a quarterback.
And the Cowboys.
I'm a rookie.
And the Cowboys are going downhill. Cowboys are going downhill.
Oh, God. Remember we said Slower was wild for saying the Cowboys not making the playoffs? It's early slow. Calm down.
But
he might have.
They are 3-1 or 2-2. There's something. But either way.
He might have been cooking a little bit.
Into the Sunday games, let's go into the Vikings and Packers game just to get this out of the way. Slower, don't go down 28-0 to the Sam Darnold-led Vikings, and you won't have excuses. I really don't know what to tell you. I could throw up all the screenshots of all the excuses that Slower was giving, but let me sum it up in a nutshell. Something about the refs, because the refs are always a problem. Something about Jordan Love not being at 100%. Something about injuries and blah, 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 blah. He lost to the Vikings. He swears to it that they're going to destroy the Vikings later in the year, and I just want to put that in video just so that we can go back to this when potentially the Vikings blow out the Packers later. But, beyond that, it was a great game. It was fun to watch at least the Packers come back from a 28-0 lead or deficit.
Almost.
And, if it weren't for their kicker missing a couple of kicks, the Packers realistically could have won that game. So all Slower slander aside here, I really do think that the Packers should have won this game, or definitely could have won this game, with how, poorly the Vikings kind of executed the second half of this game. I think the Vikings really are for real this year. I think we underestimated how good the roster around Sam Darnold is. And, Sam Darnold, I don't think is still a top 10 quarterback in the league, but he's doing everything that he needs to do. And that's, really all you need out of a team like the Vikings. It's kind of like with Brock Purdy and the 49ers.
This is Jordan Love, hurt, by the way. 32 of 54, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks, but that's a bad Jordan Love. I don't know. Would you like that from Daniel Jones? I would love that from Kirk Cousins. obviously the interceptions are bad, but if you told me Jordan
Jordan
Love,
Love's a beast. I
oh no,
I'll
he's
say that
amazing.
right now. But like, cut the excuses, guy. And this goes to all fans out there. Cut the fucking excuses. Like, come on. Speaking of excuses, I mean, you almost had to come in here and give a few for yourself, but the Falcons managed to pull it out against the New Orleans Saints. Is there
I don't
anything
know
you really
how.
want to like touch on in this game? Like, it was just a really ugly game all around.
It was definitely like a defensive game for both. Like both defenses made a lot of good plays, and then I mean, like always, you gotta just trust that young hope. He'll always clutch up for you. They
With
got
all the
it. Like
weapons you have, Kyle Pitts needs to get back going. And
at this
yeah, with
point,
all
just
the
trade him.
weapons,
Like if you're not gonna
right.
use him, just trade him. Like
With all
and
the
I like
weapons you
Kyle Pitts.
have, you deserve more out of your offense. Some of the other games that were of interest this week, I mean, this one's really not of interest, but that Broncos-Jets game, like, if you watched that game,
I'm sorry.
I don't understand how. Like, there were so many better games going on, and you sat there and watched the Broncos throw for negative passing yardage in the first half. Eagles are falling apart, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just absolutely own Philadelphia. That could be just a strong possibility. It could have nothing to do with Philly as a team. This could be just one of those cases where one team is just the other team's dad. I don't really understand. The Colts managed to end the Steelers' undefeated streak, although Anthony Richardson did go down again. So Joe Flacco is still in the league. I didn't even know that until he came in for Anthony Richardson.
I didn't either.
Joe
Honestly.
Flacco came in for him and ended up winning the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh was frauds. This is another one of those years where Pittsburgh's probably going to fucking end above 500. They don't deserve it, but they might do it. And Mike Tomlin's a genie or something. I don't really know.
Made a deal with the devil, maybe. I don't know.
I really thought that we were going to be sitting here talking about how Jaden Daniels balled the fuck out, and then I actually looked at the stats from this 42-14 blowout. Like, Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray had essentially the same game. James Conner rushed for over 100 yards for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
No idea how they got blown the fuck out. If you look at the stats on paper, this should have been a close game. But I will say this, Jaden Daniels looks like he passes every eye test. He passes like pretty much every test for a rookie quarterback that I've seen. He's easily the best rookie out there as far as quarterbacks go.
I think it's his race to lose for rookie of the year. And I will say this, I'm looking at the drive thing. I just love seeing in the fourth quarter Washington scored a touchdown, went for 2 and got it just to like rub it in. That's just next level.
What are you gonna do? And the last 2 games that I want to talk about is the Ravens absolutely kicking the shit out of Buffalo. Yeah. Called it, by the way. Haha.
Hey, you know what?
I didn't call a blowout. Buffalo looked bad. And even Josh Allen would admit, he even said it after the game, hopefully this is the last time this season that happens, because he had no excuses. They just played horrible. Take notes slower. If you watched either of the Monday night games, it better not have been the Titans-Dolphins, because I'm sorry, that was awful. But the Lions-Seahawks game was fucking amazing. Jared Goff going a perfect 18 for 18. Geno Smith, even though they lost, looked fantastic.
Yeah, that was not on Geno. That Seahawks defense was...
Kenneth Walker being back means that the Seahawks offense is even more dangerous than it was previously. But the Lions, dude, I swear, this is the one game that I watched that I finally see it in the Lions that they look like Super Bowl contenders. Last year, obviously they looked good and they looked like, they could make a Cinderella run or something like that, but that's what it was a Cinderella run. This is no longer a Cinderella team. This is just a powerhouse team. Like, they looked unstoppable.
I want to say I called in the preseason.
You're welcome. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I had the Lions doing well, but,
Well, I mean... We'll see. I mean, I agree with you, first of all. Like, they look like a top 5, top 3 team.
Right. Well, with all that being said, let's get into the Week 5 predictions. And boom, they are up on your screen right now for you guys to look at. Pause the video so you can look at your special little team. But we are about to go talking about these. We actually have a couple less games to talk about this week, with a couple teams having a bye week. So this hopefully is going to look a little bit smaller on your screen. But we'll start with yours, the game that we're watching tonight, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. And now I have a decision to make, and I want you to sit here. This is your chance to sell this to me as to why you think the Atlanta Falcons have a shot at winning this game. And if you sell it well enough, I won't challenge this pick.
I feel like no matter what, you're going to challenge anyway.
That's not true. That's not true. I'm definitely 50-50 on this fence.
I will say this. This is very much a 50-50 game. Yes, I will admit, this is kind of a homer pick. I'm not selling great. I know that. But I will say this. Atlanta, if they can get the offense going, like they should beat Tampa. Like, it shouldn't be a contest. I will say this though, the matchup that is on this for this game should be Atlanta's defense against the Bucks offense. Atlanta has a top corner in AJ Terrell, and he could lock up one of their guys. They still have two. So whether you lock up Mike Evans, Godwin's going to go off. Okay, we'll guard Godwin. Evans going to go off. So it is going to be, I think, a very back and forth game, and I think it's just going to come down to what defense makes the last stop. And I'm pulling that Atlanta's defense having a better overall secondary with two good safeties in Simmons and Jesse Bates will prove to be the X factor and have Atlanta win. Not because of their offense. I think the offense should hopefully do better, but I believe more in Atlanta's defense against the Bucs offense.
If this was in Tampa, this would be a guaranteed challenge.
Oh,
Like I would not
yeah.
be even thinking about this. I was going to come in here and talk about the fact that in last week's game, and I know Philly's defense has had struggles, but in last week's game, and I'm not exaggerating this, and you might think I'm blowing this out of proportion, but Baker Mayfield looked like a top 5 to 7 quarterback. Like he's
looking at this whole season, honestly.
He's looked great this season, and the whole Bucs offense that I didn't think was going to be that great has looked great. Whereas this Falcons offense that was supposed to look great hasn't looked all that great. So I'm very on the fence of this one. I think due to the fact that it's only week 5, I'm going to hold my challenge, but I don't see this as a 50-50. It's a 50-50 for me to challenge it. But as far as this game goes, I really think that this is like a 65-35 in Tampa's favor. Because overall, they stack up better. And your offense on paper may be more talented, but just as a whole, I think Tampa's just a more complete team. First London game of the season. It's the Vikings and the Jets. I'm sorry, you have to watch a New York team get blown the fuck out in London.
Yeah.
That's essentially what this comes down to. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, so you never know. He could show up and be Aaron Rodgers, but it hasn't happened yet this season. So I can't sit here and assume that it's going to. And like I said last week, I'm done with these eventuallys. I'm basing my picks off of what I've seen so far this season, and I haven't seen it out of Aaron Rodgers yet.
I think this game does have a chance to be a very defensive game. I know we have it as a blowout for both of us. I could definitely see this game being 17 to 14. Both defenses are, besides last week with the Vikings, really good. But I agree. We haven't seen anything from the Jets offense, so why should we now?
We have a couple quick differs to go through. I'm just going to roll 3 games off right here that we do differ on. The Jaguars-Colts, in my opinion, I don't know how healthy Anthony Richardson is. I didn't do a whole lot of research into this. Jaguars are winless this season. They're dying for a win. If they go up against Joe Flacco and the Colts, I really think that the Jaguars pull this game out. The next one, Patriots-Dolphins. I see nothing out of this Dolphins offense that says they're going to score more than 10 points. Patriots have played somewhat well this season on offense, especially with their run game. And I think Mike McDaniels is getting fired after the season. And then Bills-Texans we differ on, which I think is going to be a great game. But I do think that Josh Allen comes back with a vengeance after last week.
The Colts-Jags I just think is just a toss-up. I could honestly see Joe Flacco going in because he did it last year for the Browns.
And Jonathan Taylor. Anything can happen with this Colts offense, but...
Yeah, the Patriots-Dolphins, I think only one touchdown scored in that entire game. I don't believe in either team whatsoever. And then Bills-Texans, I kind of went back and forth on. I went with the Texans mainly because I think their defense is better, and plus Von Miller just got suspended for 4 games. So if he was one of your best players and now he's out, I think that is going to be a big hit. I think the Bills offense will do well, but I just think the defense just won't be able to hold against the Texans offense.
We do disagree as well on the Raiders Broncos. I should have probably just thrown that one in there because that's just kind of a weird one. Another 50-50 one. The Broncos put up literally 60 something yards of total passing offense against New York last week. And I don't hate Gardner Minshew. He's definitely not any franchise quarterback or top 15 or anything like that.
He's okay.
But I think the Raiders offense does enough, and I'm a little partial towards Antonio Pierce, their head coach, former Giant legend. So
sure.
I just kind of lean Raiders in these 50-50 matchups. For the most part, if the Raiders are outmatched, I don't pick them. But if it's a 50-50 matchup, I lean Raiders just because of Antonio Pierce. That's really my only analysis on that game. And like I said, the Broncos offense just looks horrible.
Yeah, no, I like the Dolphins Patriots. This is going to be, Dolphins Patriots, I think it's just going to be no offense. I think this is just going to be straight defense. So I believe more in the Broncos defense. We do have my game to get into, which I don't think there's really much to talk about here. Like I said, you guys shit on the Giants all the time, but here you go. I have the Giants losing this one 31-17. You've probably already seen it below. Yeah.
We're not getting past Seattle. We do not have the offensive capabilities to hold up with Seattle. Malik Neighbors knocked himself out last game, so he probably won't even be in this game. So that is just...
fair. he was also carrying the team, so I'm surprised he didn't
So
get hurt in general. More in
yeah,
general, I guess.
I do think that the Giants defense could give Seattle's offense a little bit of trouble. But when you have DK Metcalf, Kenneth
Tyler
Walker,
Lockett,
in
Jackson Smith and Jigba, like don't like
yeah,
you just
Ben's
keep
rattling them off
rattling
better than I
names.
am. I just watched the game last night. I already forgot all the receivers' names. But yeah, when you
Well,
have all those weapons that Geno Smith has with the O line, I mean, honestly, Seattle's O line has been pretty good so far this season too. So with the O line as well, I don't see a way the Giants even have a shot at this game. In Seattle too, like come on.
I will say this to give the Giants credit. I do think the Giants offense will do pretty well because the Seahawks defense is. Yes, the Lions are really good. They just gave up 40 points.
I will say this: out of the last 4 prove-it years for Daniel Jones, this is the first year where I can fully say that it is all his fault. Like, well, it might be play calling too, but it's all his fault
I think it's kind of
for the most part.
Unfortunately, where it's 2 negatives, Daniel Jones being asked and the play calling being asked, it's not making a positive, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, like honestly.
Did you pick the Rams or the Packers? Oh, you smart little boy. Okay.
I was not fucking picking the Rams. Hell fucking no.
Hey, you've
Packers are
been
home.
picking the Rams in a lot of these weird games, and it paid off for you in that 149ers game.
I was like, yeah, but that ruck's flooding out.
Good. We don't even have to talk about the Packers Ram game because we don't differ on it. Fuck you, Slower. This whole episode's been shitting on Slower. I love you, Slower. Sorry.
I don't.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
Cowboys and the Steelers on Sunday night. Honestly, a little shocked you didn't have this any closer, but I mean, we finally saw a real side of the Steelers last week. They barely lost that game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I will say this is 100% a trap game for the Cowboys. I could 100% see the Steelers, like, just because I have the Cowboys winning by 10 does not mean I have confidence in the Cowboys. I just think the Steelers.
It just really depends if the Cowboys offense shows up. If the Cowboys offense doesn't show up, if the Cowboys aren't able to put up more than 14 points, they're not winning this game.
Yeah.
And that's really like the cap, because I don't think the Steelers put up much more than that. But like, come on, your offense has to get going.
If this is like a slow defensive, like run heavy game, I think the Steelers win this like easy. But if it's like a shootout, I don't think the Steelers can keep up.
And we finish off with a game that will have everybody talking about the refs probably for the next like 4 days afterwards, because you can't have a Chiefs game without
the refs, right?
That's
how it goes.
It is what it is. Not really much to talk about. I don't think the Saints win this game with or without refs, but yeah. I mean, Rashid Rice being out is wild. And I will say this, I have been kind of a defender of the Chiefs over the last couple years with Slower, because he's just like the number one Chief hater in the world. I've been a little bit of a defender, saying that you just have to, we all did the same thing with Brady and blah, blah, blah. We don't just recognize greatness when we're seeing it. But when Patrick Mahomes knocks out Rashid Rice, and you hear, it was Tony Romo or Chris Collins, it was Tony Romo absolutely deep-throating Patrick Mahomes' cock about how great of a play it was by him. It really does make you cringe, man. It really does. And Chris Collinsworth is a lot worse with it, and I thought it was him, but no, like Tony Romo, I guess, is just as bad, but he's with all quarterbacks. Chris Collinsworth is specifically like
Mahomes.
like knee deep in Patrick Mahomes' anus, but like I don't really know.
No, if the refs aren't, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
but yeah,
God.
no, I.
That's all I really have to say about that game. And like I said, there's not much analysis. The Saints' offense has finally started to falter a bit, and I mean the Chiefs figure it out no matter who the fuck they have. That's pretty much it for week 5 of Nick's picks. If you disagree with any of your picks or want to leave any of your picks down below in the comments, do so now. If you haven't dropped a like on the video or subscribed to the channel yet, do so now as well. Just a reminder, I am up 39-35. I am only saying that because I wanted Ben to hear that just one more time before we ended Nick's picks. That is not very family friendly, Ben.
When have you ever been family friendly?
This is a family fucking friendly show, Ben.
This is all family friendly Deadpool 2.
Coming out on Disney Plus soon. Not sponsored.
But
would love it anyway. Ben, is there anything you want to say for week 5 before we head out of here? Down 39-35. Sorry. What?
But my mental health will be riding on tonight. So we'll see what happens. By next week, if I just come in and just not talk, like that's all you need to know.
I mean, the Giants are gonna lose, and I'm gonna come in with the same energy. So. This is great. I love it.
At least you have positivity.
Well, I wouldn't call it positivity. I would call it like insanity or something like that. But
it's fair.
Hope you guys enjoyed Nick's picks. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great one. Peace. I don't even have an outro. Do you have anything? Do you have anything more you want to say for the end of this? Because this is gonna be the dumbest outro ever.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, see, that's all we got.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Slower, you should have fucking been here.